Armageddon is days away. We have to work.
And here we go. Welcome back. Let's do this. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. We are doing the take on. I should sound more enthusiastic. Our take on the Rapunzel. So I saw it before with my daughter, so I decided to do a sketch. And I started this when the day that Avengers came out, so I was trying to avoid everything Avengers. I already saw it. Won't say anything about it. But that turned into this because I was trying to do the opposite of what the Avengers are. I don't know why this is what that opposite is, but apparently it is the opposite. I have decided, so that's what it is. Deal with it. So let's continue on. I'm just going to the chat rooms. Looks like Becca joined. Hello, Becca. I think I might want to try putting music, and Becca, if you're here, and if you can hear it, or if anybody else can hear it, I kind of want to play some music this time, just in the background. I'll search from royalty-free background music. Here's jazz playlist, royalty-free music. Okay, let's see. Let's just do this. Let's see if you can hear it, because I can't hear it. Oh! I don't think so. I mean, this is pretty bad. I don't know if you can hear it. I have it turned way down. I guess what I should do is turn this up. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Just something in the background. Definitely not this. Maybe something a little more. Here's upbeat. No, no, no. Sorry, if you're just joining in, I am trying to find some music to play so it's not super boring when I'm not talking. Last time I was able to talk, smooth jazz. I don't know. I didn't put in cool rock. No copyright music. Chill, jazzy. Well, it's only 5 minutes. I need something long. I need something super long. So you don't get super bored. 10 hours of carefree ukulele music. Oh, there we go. I think we found a winner. I think this is a winner. Again, if you can hear this, if you're listening, you might not be listening to the audio. I just hope it's not too loud. I don't know. We'll try that. Judging by the levels, my voice is way louder than this. So I'm hoping that this is going to work and not be annoying. I'll actually even turn it down a little bit on my end. There we go. All right. This is where we're at. Here's the sketch. Here's all the painting that I did so far, which is the waterfall and all that good stuff. Let me aim it down just a little bit. God, I look like such a dad. What is wrong with me? I'm such a dad. I'm trying to get it. Not that I'm the most interesting person to look at, but all right. So let's freaking do this. Let's get into this. I did a lot of the background. I'm going to still need to work on the sky. Like I said, I'm probably going to do kind of a gradient kind of business, like a sunsetty kind of color scheme going on there. But for right now, we're in a good space. And after looking at the snow, I do not like the snow on the mountain. I'm going to redo that again once I do the sky. But let's make a pass. Let's just keep moving forward. I'm going to just dive right into this tower. I was going to add some textures to the cliff face, but I don't really think it needs it, because as you see me turning it off and on, there's a lot going on in front. So the less busy I keep that cliffside, the better. It's already got a lot of texture, a lot of movement just from the pattern that I made with the brushes. So I'm going to leave it alone and not overcomplicate it. After it's done, I can always go back in and add detail if I need to. But right now we're just going to kind of keep it with all the basics, just basic colors and shapes, and kind of how I make my first pass at painting it. All right. We got this. Great music playing. Okay, here we go. So might as well work on the tower. I mean, that's what everyone came to see, right? And then I'll do the foreground, or I could do the foreground first and do the tower last. I'll do that. I'll put the tower in last. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn off these other layers, especially the top ones. I might keep this cliff face just so I can see what I'm going to do color-wise for the foreground. But as you can see, the foreground, I'm having a hard time seeing it because of that. So what I'm going to do is I can do this thing where I'm basically colorizing all those lines to be one color, and I'll make them like white like this. I know it's kind of funky, but I can see it way better now. And it's called an adjustment layer. Basically it's telling the layer below it, hey, you're not this color anymore, now you're white. And the layer has to abide by the rules, because that's how it's programmed. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm drinking out of my jar because I'm a dum-dum. Alright, so here we go. Now that I made it white, I can definitely see kind of what's going on a little better, because see, if when it's blue, it's a little bit, it gets hidden by the brown, but this white really pops off of it. So let's zoom in. Let's get going. So I'm gonna do these. I'm gonna do the. Let's do these trees first, and then the rocks, because the trees would be next, then the tower, then the rocks. So let's do this other layer of trees, which I'm gonna make. I think I'm gonna make it different than these triangle trees up top. Oh man, I don't know. Should they all be triangle trees? Again, these are decisions that I probably should have made before. So what I'm going to do now is, let's just see. So if this is how it is, I'm going to do another layer on top of pure white, and I'm just going to draw those trees. I know it's kind of weird. Using the animator pencil. Is that right? I'll use the Mr. Natural brush. Why isn't it? Oh, it's on an adjustment layer, sorry. There we go. Actually, I'll do it like a bright red, just so I can really see what I'm doing here. So let's just say, do I want to do triangle trees here too? So now you're seeing me figure out what I'm going to do in real time. And again, other people probably already know what they're going to do. But, like, do I stick with the triangle trees on the bottom? Would there be round trees with triangle trees? Sure. There's all different kinds of trees. So it's either going to be that, or I'll stick with these looking trees that kind of live down below. Basically circles. Again, I break kind of everything I do down into shapes, so I'm like, in my head, I'm really thinking, am I going to do circle trees, or am I going to do triangle trees? And I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm still kind of torn. Seeing that I can do a big circle here with the branches like that. Probably use the same branch style where they go to the edge. Or not, actually. Maybe it'll just be like that. So there's that, and then there's these trees. If we do these trees, I definitely need to have something kind of coming out this way like this. And then I can do like smaller ones in the back. You kind of want to leave a little gap for the... I almost want this one to break up through. To break this line here. Again, so doing stuff like that creates a lot more depth. Move this a little better. Okay. But now we're getting kind of crazy here. Getting crazy. And these are the trees. I'll do the same branches that I did before, the same trunks. So it's going to be something like that or something like this. I just don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. What the heck, man? Sorry, I'm going to... I need to... I'm sharing this, sorry, using my other account here. Okay. Yeah, I'm really torn about which way I'm going to do this. Share to a page. Here we go. Sorry, I'm still trying to... Alright, so I'm just posting on my other Facebook page, not my actual artist page. I'm sharing this. No, I don't want to share this on Ben's. What the heck? I don't know. That's really strange. Anyways. All right. So triangles or squares? Not 100% sure. Sorry, guys. Bear with me one more second here. I'm trying to share this video. Oh, I can create a poll? Oh, let's try this. Add a question. Here we go. What tree shapes is it going to be? Circle or triangle? And spell it correctly. Two options: circle, triangle. What tree shapes? What tree shapes for bottom trees? That almost doesn't sound like a... Let's see, what happens? Oh, yeah! Allow them to continue after? I don't know. Cool. Another thing I'm trying to do here is... So yeah, so here's the circle ones, the ones that are in red, and then here are the triangle ones. The only reason I'm having this internal struggle is because the trees up top are also triangles. So do I stick with the triangles all the way through? Or is it weird to have... Or is it strange to have circle trees underneath? The big questions. Oh, you don't see a pole? I don't know. Publish results. Let me click on that. Let me see what happens when I click on that. But you say round. Okay. Well, that's crazy you don't see a pole. I see it here. Alright. I'll do round. You have spoken. Now you can take credit for this. Can you hear the music, by the way? I'm playing some royalty-free ukulele music really quietly. Oh, I can do this too. Can you hear the music? Yeah, see, no one's even touching this pole here, so I'll do another one and see what happens. And I'll hit publish now. Another set of questions. Okay, good. I'll keep the music at that volume. Yeah, they're up there. Edit poll. I can edit the post. I can create another poll. But I'm just going to leave it. Oh, the shape of the bottom tree is when it automatically ended it. Anyways, cool. I don't know where this poll lives. The other thing I was trying to do was to post this on my artist site, but I feel so... I don't know what I'm doing half the time, to be honest, in life. Share an event, share on a page you manage. Okay, here we go. Do, 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 do. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. Yes. Okay. Anyways, cool. I wonder where it's going. Maybe it's going to your Facebook page and not to this video. Maybe. I don't know. I'm seeing it like it's on my... Actually, watch this. If I bring this down, you will see. Oh, yeah, baby. This is what I'm seeing. There it is. In all its glory. Oh, now it's like... Oh, it's going to keep going, too, and gets crazy meta. But yeah. It has 0 and 0. Alright. Let's get on. It's just going to keep going to infinity. Alright, let's get back to the artwork. Please. It's the only time I can really figure out this logistical stuff is when it's live. I don't know how else to do it, but let's keep pressing on. Okay, so I'm going to do those round trees. I might actually keep them perfectly round too. That might be kind of cool rather than doing the little fluffy tree thing. So we'll see how this looks. So yeah, so let's just do a couple and see how we feel about it. I'm going to straight up use this circle marquee tool, and you can do it from the center, and I can just make a big old freaking circle, whatever size I want. And then to make it easier on me, I can do that a couple times rather than having each layer be that. And try to keep it a circle. And then I want a circle over here. Oops. So I'm holding down this Alt key to make it kind of grow from the center point. But there's a few of them, at least. These ones will be in the foreground. And I'll do that thing where I pick the two obnoxious colors again. And there we go. And I'm going to do some behind. I should have done these first, but I'll do these smaller ones behind. Is it just the same song over and over again? It's going to drive me crazy. I might have to change this. Ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, so let's just stick with those. And then in the foreground of these is this big old freaking one right here. So I'm moving the cursor where the center of the tree would be. And then if I hold down Alt, you'll see it starts to grow from the center. So then that way. Because otherwise, if you use the circle tool, it does this. It does it from wherever you started. You have to drag it. So it's hard to figure out where your center is going to be. But if you just do it, you click where you want the center is, and you hold Alt. If you hold Shift, it actually makes it a perfect circle, Alt and Shift. Again, this is all technical stuff. But now I can move that shape around if I decided. But I want to break that plane right here. I want to break both of these planes where this tree is and where the cliff is, because again, the more that you kind of stack stuff on top of each other, then the further you push it back into space. I'm gonna hit publish results because I don't really. This thing is not working. It might also be the poll should be working because I actually use a program called OBS, and I'm pumping this out to YouTube and to Twitch. What is it? Oh, please add the face. I can draw an Easter egg throwing shade on this. The subtle music. Okay, I wasn't sure which one you went to first, Kurt, to the Twitch one, or to this one. So if you were on Twitch, then you definitely wouldn't have seen a poll. Yeah. Okay. Let's not get bogged down here. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to this. Oops, there it is, and I will do the same thing for that side. So this is kind of where I'm gonna put the trees. I'm gonna do one more actually over here. It's gonna be kind of zoomed out because I need to get a better picture of what this is gonna be. And I'm gonna break that. I'm going to. Oh, come on. Sorry, I'm just trying to put another tree over here. And I want to make sure I break that plane again on this side. That looks good. Again, I can move these shapes around and stuff, but this is kind of the overall. You get an idea of what this is going to look like. Let me turn off the drawing. And now it's just perfect little balls. Ball trees. Yeah, let's just see how this goes before I do it. Yeah, this music, it's just looping. And it's 10 hours. Holy crap. Let me pick something else real quick here. Halloween music. Something that's longer. Something that's not 10 hours of the same song looping, probably. I'm looking. Music from SoundCloud? Sure, why not? Why not? Okay, so let's paint these trees. Come on, no more lollygagging around. So I'm gonna pick a nice green color. I'm gonna try and make these ones different than the colors over there, so then we can look a little different. Let me zoom in a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll do this little round of a thingy like this, and just kind of keep going around and around. So because since I'm using that multiply effect, it's just going to keep getting darker and darker unless right now I just turned it off, and it'll go back to, this is the original color that it is. And then if I go back, you'll see it'll get dark again. And sometimes I'll do it straight, sometimes I'll do circles, it really depends. But this, I feel like using circles to do this kind of gives it a little more of an organic look. I just think it's too dark, to be honest. So let me even go lighter with this, and then we paint it all across. Actually, I can just hit this key to make it. Again, this hotkey that I set over the years of doing this. Kind of make your own hotkeys. Shortcut keys, I guess you call them. This music. I guess it's better than the repeating thing. So let's do that. Let's do this other side. I'll make these trees probably 2 different colors as well. So I'm just going to kind of paint this in, and then do the same effect here like this. Kind of keep that edge light. And it's a little bit of a cheat lighting effect wise. Normally the light would be coming in, like a light source would be coming in from one direction. So if it's coming from right to left, it would be hitting this tree, which means that this tree would be all in shadow. But when you're doing something like this, you could cheat, pretend that the sun's hitting both, because why not? And then I'll do these down here, which I might still stick to the orange. Actually, I could make it a little more red. This looks actually pink, so let's see. So again, I'm doing that mask effect. Let's see, I'm painting over here and you can't see anything, and as soon as it goes into where the mask is, then you can see it, and then it goes away. So again, the effect is basically, it's like cutting a hole out. Yeah, I think, sorry, I'm looking at the question that Kurt asked. I guess it just depends on what kind of effect I want. I mean, here, I'll do straight on this tree right here. And it can still create the same cool kind of effect if that's what I want to go for. I mean, I might actually end up doing this because it just looks cool, you know, to do something like that. And then it creates like all these cool little triangles. Again, it's very Joey Chu because he uses shapes and stuff when he builds his pieces, when he paints. Lately, I've been doing like circles and stuff inside circles just because it fits better a little bit. But we'll see. Again, we'll see how... If it doesn't look right, then I can just go back in and repaint it. So I'll do straight lines for that one and circles for this one. This music's killing me. This color isn't too great. It's really basically the same color as the... I mean, I don't know. Going back to normal brush, and then going back to the... Kind of going back to normal again to create just a little bit of highlights here. Going back over it again to kind of darken it. So sometimes like this light, that bright, that's too bright. But then if I just turn on that mask layer again, or that multiply, it creates like this cool. This looks more and more like brush strokes. I kind of like these bigger circles than the smaller ones up here. So I'm probably going to change this guy up here. And again, this is kind of how I end up working. Is like I'll go back and change something completely if I don't think it really looks right. So what I'll do is I'll use bigger circles like this. See? As long as I don't pick up the pen, it'll stay consistent color-wise. But yeah, that's kind of a cool effect. I actually really like that. So I'm going to keep it that way. And do this one that way too. Rave music! It's a party up in here. Everybody get your rave on. I mean, tonally, those are kind of the same a little bit. I'm getting a little worried, so I'll do that thing where I can add a black and it's an effect for the whole thing where it makes it black and white. And this is a good way to see. You could see value and how things are if they're too close to each other. So these trees are enough. They're popping off. They're a little close to these other trees. They almost look the same color. Look like the same color, and that's value. So that's how dark or light it is. I think we're okay right now. I might add some kind of like a mist effect, which I'm definitely doing at the bottom of the waterfall. But here I can turn the color back on. I think it's bright enough. Or what I could do is I can even go back into it on this tree layer and you know, pop off this edge here with a big circle like this. Something like that. I don't know. I'm doing all that. I kind of have one chance to do. What if I make it really dark? Would that help? No, that does not help. So I will stick to doing it light, and if I kind of do it in the same way I'm doing the big circles, I'm trying to make it look like it was part of the initial time I painted it, and that's all right. That's good. And I'll do it to these ones down here, which were like these more yellow trees. Let me do it even more yellow than that. I think yellow, orange, and green trees is probably pretty good. So, you know, I'll do a little bit. And do little circles here and there, but that's a cool effect. I like that. Just sucking on a pacifier while I'm working, just tripping balls. Can do like put some filter on this thing so it looks like I can make myself look like an actual baby. I wonder if you can do that on these Facebook things. Again, I'm not doing it straight through Facebook. I'm using that OBS app. We used it before when I did a podcast with Kurt here. We still do it, but we did a televised one. We did one that was streaming and used the same program. It's really cool. It kind of lets you lay it out. So I was able to put like this thing above me, which has like Upper Ryan live stream, and I could put the video here, and then I'm right here. But I can turn off and on stuff. Like if I wanted to take a break, I made this little thing. Like if something, like some kind of crazy emergency happens, I can just click this and it turns off the sound, so it'll be silent for a second. And we're back! And I'm back! So I'll use that if I like poop myself, or you know, someone comes in here, tries to bother me, or my dog comes in here. Anyways, let's get back to it. So if these trees are yellow, let's make these kind of like a darker... I can't do it that dark though, because that background is really, really dark. So these trees have to pop off. They have to pop off, yo! Yeah. For the stream start, it just has this. Here, I'll pop this up real quick for a sec. So yeah. It's basically different scenes, so I can set that scene and have different... So I could have my audio go on there, but I like the fact that I can click on it and it turns off the microphone and everything else. So it's just one click, and then like if I'm yelling at somebody, you won't hear that. Yeah, it's a pretty useful program. This music, man. Okay, so there we go. I did some of these trees. I could put some apples on them or something. I mean, who knows? Could be an apple tree. I don't know. Leave me alone. It could be whatever. It can be whatever it wants to be. Like a poor man's Bob Ross. Be whatever it wants to be. I like how these polls are still up here. I don't know how to get rid of them. It says allow voting after. Oh, it's after the video ends. Okay, so let's do some tree trunks on these trees. Whoa! So actually, yeah, that's a kind of a good example of... So the painting that's behind, again, it's like the mask is like a piece of paper over this whole thing where I cut out these holes. And that's where I'm painting through. So you're only seeing what the paper, through the hole of the paper. But if you look behind it, you can see this is it. Look, you can still see the blue. You can see how it's all like that. You see the brush strokes. But it looks all perfect and pretty. I think if so I can turn off the mask. Yeah. Or if I do this, you'll see the painting. So this is what it looks like underneath. And then when I make it a mask, I tell it to, hey, don't be like that. Be just inside the circle. And there you go. See? It's kind of a cool way of showing it. I don't know if that helps it make sense. But masks were like the hardest thing for me to grasp for a long time, and now that I get it, they're so much fun and they're so easy to use, and they make it a lot easier. Just in general. Alright, so I'm going to do some tree trunks. Let's do them on these trees. Let me see where the drawing is actually right now. See, there's a rock in front of it. There's a rock in front of that one. I want a rock! So for this, I'm going to use straight lines again. So I'm going to use the lasso tool, but I'm going to do a straight version of it. You know what? Let's try what I did for the other thing with the other trees up top. So I'm just gonna straight up use a brush and do like I'll probably have to mask these out. I'm a little worried here. What I'll do is I'll make it white, and you'll see why. So this isn't going to be the final color. This is just to kind of get an idea of what these branches, what these trunks are going to be. I'm actually going to make this brush, which I don't normally do, a little bit bigger. A little bit smaller, a little bit softer now. Let's try that. And then I could go like this. Again, I'm just kind of freehanding these instead of them being perfectly straight. I don't know. I want to do one more line, but I don't think so. Let's keep it like that. And then I will do one over here too. So I'll kind of do the opposite of what I did on the other side. So I can do it like that, and then we do 2 branches on this side. Now let's break like that. So wait, is this other? I think I have 3 trees on this one. Yeah. So I can do the same for this. So the center is going to be somewhere right here. I'm trying not to create a tangent on the edge of this piece, so I'll kind of stay away from it. I'm going to do this too to help this line be straight. So you can rotate the canvas like this in Photoshop, which is really nice, without me rotating the screen. I'm trying not to get dizzy. But that way I can do this angle in a little more natural. My hand will naturally lay. It's just an easier way to draw, basically. It's like turning a piece of paper so you can make sure you get this angle right. And I know every line that I'm doing right now probably looks exactly the same, but to me it's not. It's not. I will lose my mind if it's not how I want it. So this is the same principle I'm using for the trees up top. I actually like this rather than using the lasso tool, so we will try this. So now all these tree trunks are on this layer. So I'm going to do that thing, the trick that I did before, where I'm selecting the circles, because I'm going to cut off all that excess, the excess. So I want to keep these trunks. So this selection is telling them to keep. So everywhere inside this little dancing ants, they call it, is what's going to be affected. That's what the selection tool does. And then if I am going to inverse it, so I'm saying, hey, not that, the exact opposite of that. And you'll see the dancing ants are kind of everywhere. Now when I hit delete, you'll see all of these extra pieces up here are going to go away. And then since I used that circle as like an example, I basically used that same circle shape. Now it's perfect. It's perfect to the edge, which again is like a stylistic thing. But you'll see, like when you get all up close in it, you can see how it's right on the edge of the tree. And you'll see where I like this brush. You see this brush isn't super clean. It's this is Mr. Natural brush. It's from this Kyle's brush pack. So Photoshop has all these different brushes, but it has like this really rough edge, and it looks gross when you're zoomed in like this. But and you can see here, you can see all the pixels. These are literally the pixels. It creates like this jaggedy pixel thing, which when zoomed out looks way more natural, because nothing is really perfectly straight. Only in digital, and that to me is when you can really tell that something is digitally painted. I'll go to a general brush here, so I'll just do this real quick and go like this, and you can see the difference. Let me get it right next to this, and then when I zoom in, you can see the difference. How you see how like jaggedy this line is, and then this line is pretty smooth. It has a little bit of softness to it to try to not make it so harsh, but yeah, you can see there. It's a pretty good example. This even has little flecks you see inside of it that kind of pop through, and again, that's more of a realistic. If you're dragging your pencil across a piece of paper, slid it under the mask instead of the top. Yeah. Right on. Anyways, that's just an example of that. Oh no. Okay, good. The little marching ants, to quote Dave Matthews. What if Dave Matthews music is royalty free at this point? I mean, that violin guy. Oops, I forgot to add a little bit of branch over here too. Let me do that real quick. Again, in white. And I'm picking that brush again. Not. There we go. And then boom. Perfect. Okay. That one doesn't matter because it's going off, so you won't see it. So, of course, the tree trunks aren't going to be white. So what I can do is, I'm doing the same thing that I did with all these trees, but you can do a mask on anything. So I'm going to now, instead of that being a stroke, it's actually going to be a mask. So it's almost like I use that to cut. I think we're talking Dave Matthews Band, right? And the great part about this mask thing is now I can be whatever color I want it to be. And again, I might just almost keep it like a white or like a silver, so it's almost like a birchwood tree, if I'm saying all those words correctly. So I'm going to choose, it's that color now. See, it already looks a little too dark, but I did it underneath, so now let's see, now I'm going to zoom in. And now I can paint, when I paint, it's only where the line is. So that's why I did it white, so that way I could see it when I was creating it. And then now, so yeah, this is going to be a little too, it matches the back a little too much. So I could just go straight up super dark. That again, and I like picking up the brush and putting it down for that multiply effect, which creates like this cool texture. Super easy. Yeah, there can be a mask. I mean, you can have multiple masks. Again, it's so complicated. It gets so complicated. You're not seeing all the layers and stuff because I have that clipped out of the screen. But here, if I drag this over here, you can see. So this is what I got going on for layers right now. I don't know if it's zoomed in enough. I can't physically zoom into this, but these are all the layers. And so I'm working on this layer right here. And then there's a little arrow right here. Oh, you can't really see it. That sucks. That's unfortunate. There's a little arrow right here that is saying, actually, I might be able to if I could. I don't want to get into it. Anyways, there's a little arrow that's saying, hey, everything, I'm gonna mask that layer basically underneath it. So this one right here, which is the color of this tree that I just did, I'm turning it off and on right here. There's a little arrow that's pointing down because the layer below it is the actual drawing of the white lines. And so the layer, it's freaking confusing. But the layer above it with the little arrow is saying, oh, everything, I'm going to paint only behind it. So this is, I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive because you would think the paper layer would be on top and everything would be underneath it. I think that's why it took me so long to figure out the whole layer thing. But this little thing is saying, hey, everything in there. So what I can do is if I actually make another layer and tell it to be a mask layer, I can just keep making layers and layers and layers. And now I can do it like, I'm going to paint this red now, and I paint it red. Blah, 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 and it's going on top. But if I undo that layer, there's still that other brown layer. So you can just keep layer and layer and layer. So it's kind of nice because it's kind of what they call like non-destructive. So that way, yeah, basically mask on mask. You can't go like another level. So this red isn't masking the brown. It's still masking that white line. Everything is masking that white line. So all those little arrows are just saying, hey, keep going down until there's no arrow, and then mask that thing. If that makes sense. So again, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's basically what it is. But what I like about it is, like, if I did this brown color and I was like, I like it, but I want to do something else, you know, I want to try a different color without getting rid of this because I like it, then I can just either turn it off and do another layer, or even leave it on and paint on top and paint this red layer. Oh, I want the tree bark to be red, and then it's just all red. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, still the same constraints. That's probably a better way to put it. Yeah. And then they have a whole other thing in Photoshop where you could, like, you can do a mask layer, which again, this is why it's confusing, where if I were to paint on just a regular old layer, I'm going to make it a regular old layer up top, this red circle like this, I can click on this little mask layer thing, and what it did is create like this little window next to it that's all white. So basically, if it's white, you can see it. If it's black, you can't see it. And if I choose black, and then now I'm going to use, you know, just a brush, just any old brush. I'm painting in black now. This is going to be weird. But see, it's doing nothing out here, but now as I paint through it, it looks like I'm erasing it. but I'm not really erasing it. I'm painting black on the mask layer. So I'm saying I can paint out to say, hey, don't show this stuff. But if I make the color white, if I go over here and make it, now I change the brush color to white and I paint, it looks like I'm painting red, but I'm really just painting the mask. And if I keep going, eventually I'm going to hit the end. See, and now it's the circle again. And I can paint out here all I want, and nothing's going to happen because I didn't paint. This is the mask layer. See, God, it makes sense when you do it, and I don't know why you would choose one thing over the other, but I definitely use both for different reasons. But when I'm painting, I basically use the one that's the direct mask layer or whatever. I don't know the proper name for it, but yeah. Anyways, let me get back to painting. Let me put this back over where it belongs. Yes, perfect. I got all kinds of panels open over here. So I'm trying to figure this out here. Okay. Why would you do that? Okay. Sorry, I just messed up on my. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. No, it doesn't change the color. You can only paint black and white. I think you can paint a color. Actually, never. I think I may have accidentally done it. But even, oh, check this out. This is cool. So I made that crazy layer that's black and white. So this is the thing that affects everything. But that itself is even a mask. So if I use a paintbrush, and you can do a cool effect. This is what people do for photos. I'll use my painting brush that I use, and I'll make it really big. So it's a matte. That black and white, that layer that's making everything black and white actually has a mask on it. So if I just use black and I paint and go like this, whoosh, you can see the color, which is really cool. Because I'm painting black, and the black is saying, hey, you can see everything that I'm painting black on the mask layer. So if you want certain things to be black and white and certain things to be color, I think that's probably used a lot more for photos. To do that effect, because then that way you can make the lady's scarf pop red, or the rose pop red, or the sun pop red. It's basically just used for popping red. But yeah, so you can do that, and then if I go back to white, then oops, I want my computer to slow down here. Then I'm making it black and white again, and again, it's a weird concept to wrap your head around, but once you got it, it makes sense, and it's easy in the sense of, yeah. But yeah. But I basically use this just black and white layer, like I said, to just figure out if things are standing out, because sometimes it's hard to tell when stuff's in color, if it's standing out. Like, those trees still aren't really popping off as much, especially the ones up top, as much as I would want them to, so I might actually make them lighter. But we'll see. They might be better as this yellow color that I have for the other trees. But yeah. But I like these tree trunks, so I think this is how I'm going to do all of them. The dark is okay. Let me try them like I said, as silver. So I'm going to do that thing that I just told you. So I'm making another layer on top, and I will churn off that layer so that it'll still be there if I want it to be there. And I'll pick like an orangey. I'll pick like a basically a white. And I'm going to pick this brush again, and it sounds like video game music. So I made a subtle change, so this might be actually pretty good. So let me really paint this one. Again, trying to get that silver birchy. Some trees have white trunks like this. And I'm going to go back to the original color, the white, and kind of do this, and then it'll put a nice little texture on it. I can leave some of it that dark. I mean, I don't know. This isn't really popping off. Not as much as this. So it makes me a little worried because now the colors are getting a little screwy. But let me look at the drawing again just to make sure that there's not... I mean, there's stuff in the way. I am going to do mist, though. There's going to be mist behind the whole thing. There's going to be mist behind the trees. That'll make it pop off a little bit. I'll kind of... Actually, let me I'll finish these tree trunks because I'm going to do the trunks no matter what. So now let me do these ones. And again, these ones are going to live in front. And I'm going to use that natural brush again. I'm going to keep with this white. And here we go. Like I said, I'm going to overshoot. I'm actually going to do it a little bit thinner because it's behind. Let's do like the ups. I'm really bad at going this way. I'm fine the other way. So you can see how my hand kind of trails off here. So I'm gonna do what I did before and rotate the canvas here in a sec. Let me just get those two. Rotate this canvas, and then this is a more natural way for my hand to go like that. Okay, these are all tricks that you can use. They're a little more practical. I mean, you would, if you were drawing in real life, well, not in real life, but if you were drawing like with paper and pen, or paper and pencil, or whatever you want to draw with, crayon. For the most part, if you had a hard time drawing a certain angle, you would trim the paper. I mean, it's just what you would do. So it's nice that it can do in here. My actual whole monitor can swivel, but only so much. So sometimes I'll do that if I just need a slight angle, but for the most part, I'll just use the internal rotation thing. Yeah. Oh, good question. I'm using the shift key, which draws it straight. So yeah, it's a little bit, that would be amazing if I can draw that straight. But yeah, so like you can see this is, let me draw, that's pretty straight. If I do it quick, I can do it pretty straight. It's pretty straight. But with this, as soon as I press shift, I can do it and it'll only go straight. And if you see if I'm deviating left and right, it's not even drawing the line. It's making it a little thicker. But yeah, and that way you can just keep doing it. That's why sometimes when I lift up and if I hold shift before I do it, you'll see it creates that little line because that's the last place it was. And so it's creating like a stroke. It's just a weird, it's not even a glitch. It makes sense that it's doing that. But yeah, and it also works for this way. And it also works for, I thought it worked for angles too. I thought, but maybe not. No, it looks like it's just horizontal, vertical. Yeah. Alright, and I'm not getting rid of those, but those tree trunks look good. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm selecting those two trees, the trunks, I mean the tree part of it, selecting the bottom, so when I do this little inverse trick and delete and cut everything, it doesn't cut the actual trunk of the tree. And again, this is also a mask, so I will do the thing where I paint behind it, but I just don't know what color I want these tree trunks to be. Using the Bristol Buddy, this is the name of the brush. I mean, I can almost do these black, to be honest, because they're in the background and they're going to be covered in mist. I'm going to go back over and turn off that multiply effect, so now it's that kind of brown. Again, this is really subtle. It doesn't, I mean, people won't even really notice, but I'll know. So I just kind of like doing it. Again, it gets a little lost with the background, but like I said, the background's going to change. It's probably going to be darker. And once I add that mist effect. Orange for the tree trunk? Eh. try it. YOLO, right, bro? Okay, here, let's do it. Although that's a little too... maybe there. Go back to the multiply effect. I mean, that looks pretty good, too. That's definitely an option. I like it. Let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's look at the thing as a whole. Yeah. That works, dude. No, it's good to think... I want to say think outside like that, but there's trunks that are more orangish. I mean, it basically looks brown from far away. It's not that kind of obnoxiously orange that it could be. But that definitely works. I mean, I could have different color trunks. Let me try... this is kind of zoomed far out, but I'm going to try it with this guy. So I still have that orange selected. I'm going to color just this trunk. I mean, that works. That totally works. Maybe if I do a cool... See, and you can see with the black and white how much these trunks pop off, though, visually. But I could have different color trunks for sure. That will probably be what's going to happen. So they'll have different looking kind of trees. Which I probably should do is maybe rotate some of these colors. Maybe have one more color and have the trees be different colors. But let's do this guy right here. So the problem with this guy is going to be that his trunk is kind of, it's going to be a tangent. Because honestly, the trunk would probably run like right here, right where the line is, which is not good. So what I can do is I can actually select, I'm just going to select where the mask is. And I'm actually going to make it bigger. And this is going to trip you out. But this is the hole that's in the paper that I'm making bigger. It does not affect the painting behind it. So you can do whatever you want to do. So I'm trying to make it feel like the center line, the center of the tree is in a different place. So like that probably. That feels pretty good. Just making it bigger so then it takes up, some more of the space and just some overlap. But now the center would be way off here, so we don't have to worry about the trunk being there, creating that weird tangent. So what I can do now is do that same thing, where I'm going to draw the trunk now. This brush would be too small because the trunk would be actually bigger than this, because if it's the same kind of tree, then perspective-wise, if it's closer to you, it's bigger. So I'm going to make this brush a little bigger. Let me zoom in a little bit to help you guys out, help you see. And I'm going to do the same effect. So the center trunk would be over here, which means the lines would be coming off of here. So then I can just kind of go like this. Try that again. Here. Let's try that. And then I believe that this tree on the other side, yeah, that's also the same thing. So then let me rotate this canvas. And the center line would probably be like right here. So let's do something really low. Like there, and something like here. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, let's stick with that. Do that same effect. This time I don't have to select the trunks, so I can just do the inverse and delete it. I'm trying to think if the trunks even need to be bigger than that, or the. Yeah, I think I might make them a little bit bigger. I guess these ones are okay because this tree is a little smaller. Yeah. Yep, see ya! Thanks for watching. Okay, and then I do the inverse. Select. I actually might even take some of this away here. It's a little too big. I'm kind of just clipping away a little bit at this. All right, and then I gotta color this trunk now. I actually thought I would go a lot further, but I guess I was explaining some stuff, which is always kind of fun to do. Let's do this orangey color that Kurt picked here. I really liked it. Again, all these colors can definitely change. I'm going to put a little bit of, a little more into these because these actually are so big you can kind of see the texture on them. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's stick with that. Yeah, okay. So we did the trunks, we did the trees. Looking pretty good. I feel like there might need to be some more stuff behind. I'm actually going to check this out a little more. Let me take this off. So it may be super confusing about what it is now, but you can see basically the trees are exactly where I wanted them. The circles of the trees. They're just a different shape. I'm actually going to put all of these trees in a nice little folder. Okay. Yep. So yeah, they're exactly where I wanted them comp-wise. I'm going to add some mist for sure. I can actually do that now. And then there's going to be a ground plane I got to put. So actually, let me put the ground plane real quick. So there's a ground plane down here at the bottom. I always do round. I always make it rounded. I don't know. It's just my thing. And then within that, there's water. So I'm trying to decide where the water is going to go here. And this is kind of a weird way to think about this, but I'm just trying to draw with this little shape thing here. So it's going to be wherever I leave them, basically. Wherever I leave it, the ants, that is where the water is going to be. So that's pretty good shape for the water. I'll pick this red color just so I can know for sure. I'm not going to do the rock. I can't do the rocks, actually. They can be in a different layer. You know what? And I will. So let me just label this real quick. I'm making another folder. I'm calling this ground. Then I'm going to do one more layer and do these rocks here. Make them real angular. I'm going to do them both on the same layer here. Boom. And then pick another obnoxious color like this really bright cyan color. There. So again, I'm kind of seeing how it's going to look. So here, I'll turn that drawing layer off, and now you can really see all this stuff kind of coming together now. The background. It's kind of coming together. Yeah. So let's do this ground plane real quick, which will be a definite kind of do it this green color because it's grass. It's going to be very dark because it's the floor. kind of go back and forth. I know it seems like I am undoing what I just did, but that's kind of the way it works, really. Because it would be different colors, it creates better texture when you kind of jump back and forth like that. Because I am painting over some of the stuff I did, but then I'm leaving some of it exposed. It's making other parts darker. So if I do that, it's almost as if the light is coming through. Again, this is pretty zoomed in, so it looks a little bulky, but it's one of those things where when you step away from something, it looks a lot better. And the more you do this kind of work, or this style, you kind of, when you're doing it, you know that it's not going to be super pretty when you're that zoomed in. And plus I'm zooming in a lot more for the viewers, for you guys, for just the stream, so you guys, but for the stream, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Because again, normally I work zoomed out, but you wouldn't really be able to tell what was going on if I was doing some little tiny movement like this, if I was working on the tree. But I could do it from here, because I can physically just move my face closer to the monitor. Yeah. Actually, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this, I'm not seeing it, but I'm keeping this orange color for the tree. I have a thing of like swatches that I can keep. Swatches are in Photoshop like the color, so I want to make sure I keep that tree trunk, the one that Kurt suggested, the orange, because I like it. So I saved it, because sometimes it's hard to remember exactly what color you used, especially when you're using this method of doing the multiply thing where it gets darker and darker. It's hard to figure out what the original color was. Alright, so then let me do, instead of this river being red with blood, I do know that, oops, that I use this color for the water. So I'm actually, what I'm doing is I'm picking that color. Photoshop also has a thing where you can pick a color. You'll see the icon changes when I hold the Alt key. And I know that I used this highlight here was the pure color, I'm pretty sure. So I'm trying to find a good spot and just pick it. You can see the color on the bottom is the color that you have, and the color on top is the color it's going to change to. So it's showing me all the different colors as I kind of run through here. But this is why I save colors, because sometimes it's hard. Like with this tree, I mean, where do I save? It'd probably be right here, but even that may be not the lightest part. For this water, I'll just choose that. And then now I'm going to paint behind this thing again with... Oh, this music's terrible. Or, sorry, it's just not my kind of music. So with the water, it's kind of like this, so I might actually do like, there we go. Let me try something real quick before I do that. Let me try just doing the straight line thing, because it might look pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. And it's not really popping too much off of that other green, so I either got to make that way darker, or I got to make it like a different value. I'm going to try a different value. Like this yellowish, even though it might be getting close to what the color of the trees are. This is going to have to get pretty dark in order for this to look right. Let's see here. The thing is, if you start with a really light color, then it starts to look a little muddy, and I don't like that. But that might work. That might work a little better than this. It's a little softer. We'll stick with that. But I'm going to go back in and add some highlights here. just kind of randomly, because again the sun would be kind of coming through a little bit, even though we're not following all the rules of lighting. There will be something at least. An hour 16, huh? Right on. I'm getting close to being done for the day. Normally I try to do these on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I will not be here tomorrow. Let's paint these rocks, and then we'll kind of go through and maybe tweak little things, but then I think that's going to be it for today. So the rocks... So there's different kinds of grays, really. I mean, you think there could be one type of gray, but there's really all different types of grays. There's warm and cool. So I'm going to stick with a cool one. So if I go to like where the blue is, and kind of, I mean, it may even look blue when it's by itself, but once you start laying it down, you'll see what I mean. So I will just make the rocks that color, and we'll see how this goes. Bristol Buddy, and I will do like hard lines with this one. That's what I like to do for rocks. You'll see I'll just kind of do hard lines and kind of get that to view there. I gotta look up every once in a while and see what I'm doing. Go back and put like a highlight on here. Boom, boom. Oops. May have done a little too much and made it a little muddy. But I can even do that, let's see. And then kind of organically made it double. That's alright. We'll see. And then we'll do this one, kind of keep that edge. And if I kind of go, I can make it look like it's a bigger brush. Sometimes I'll pick a different, especially for these rocks, I might just purposely pick a darker ones because I know it'll create a darker level. So I'm going to do that here too, actually. There we go. And then go back and add some highlights here. Boom, boom, boom. Just like that. I don't know. I mean, technically there wouldn't be a highlight there. The sun's coming from the other side, so we'll just see if that works. Let's zoom out. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. We still got to get the tower and the hair, but we're getting close. And then decide if there's going to be a castle up top. Probably add some more detail. Let me put some mist in here first before we call it a day. Let me see what the black and white looks like. Yeah, it's pretty good. For the most part. I'm excited about putting this tower in. I've kind of been saving it for last. We gotta add that lizard too. But yeah. Let's keep going just a little bit longer. Alright, so I'm going to add some mist, because there definitely would be some mist down here, so I got to figure out where I'm going to put it. It's going to be behind the rock. I might do a couple layers, so there's going to be a layer in front of this. Again, that's with Photoshop, you got to think about how everything's kind of working layer-wise, like where you want to put your different elements. So there's going to be a layer of like haze or smoke or mist or whatever right in front of the water, and then there's going to be some trees, and then in front of the trees there'll probably be a little more mist, and then probably another set of trees, and then a little more mist. So I'm going to have 3 different layers of mist, So when I'm painting that, I'm keeping that in mind, knowing that the back layer, I shouldn't do it that dense, because by the time it's stacked 3, it can only get so opaque, which is like see-through. And so if you do it too hard for that first background one, then it's just going to be, you're not going to, by the time you add that 3rd layer of mist, you're not going to even notice anything. It's just going to turn into like a big shape, big non-see-through shape, which is what you don't want. So let's see here. So this is definitely, there's the waterfall. So I'm going to add some, I have this other brush here that it's called Brutus, Beast, which I really like. It's a weird shape, you can kind of see it. It's this waterfall, it's the shape of the brush. And I will just add, I'll make it white, because I can always, or like I make it like a little bit of a bluish white. If it's pure white, it has a hard time on the multiply it won't change color, because white on white doesn't get any darker, if that makes any sense. So it has a little bit of a tint to it. So here, I'm going to zoom in. I'm doing this again, I'm doing the mist right in front of the waterfall. So it's going to kind of be like this. And you'll see I'm doing it real lightly, and I got this brush, and I'm just kind of lightly doing it over and over. So some misty mist. I'm actually going to make the mist come all the way up here to make those trees pop, but there is going to be that tower there. So this might actually be enough. I know it doesn't seem like much, but like I said, I have to be careful. So there's this layer of mist here, as you can see. And then now I need to go in front of the trees. Actually, I got so many freaking layers now, I gotta start labeling this stuff. Now there's this tree layer right here. And then there's multiple layers within this tree. So I need to find these very back trees. There's the trunks, which means, and here's the tree, so I need to do it in between those ones. So again, I'm going to label this layer real quick, and then I'm going to use this mist, and you won't really be able to tell, but the mist is going in front of that tree. It's going in front of this tree. It's kind of pushing them back further and further, and again, it's already getting kind of murky down here. So I'm going to add a little more. See right there, that spot of blue is a little too much. I'm just trying to, you really just need to do it over the elements that they affect, if that makes sense. So now I'm doing it in front of this other tree. There's the trunks. And so in front of them, what is that? Oh, that must have been something else that I did. Okay, so, oops. What happened? What happened? What happened? Oh, I messed up. There it goes. So now I'm going to do it in front of these trees. These ones right here. The ones that I'm turning blue. So these trees now, I'm doing mist in front of these trees. So I'm going to name this layer real quick, and then use this brush, this thing again, and you'll see how the mist is kind of slowly going over these trees. See, it's already getting super dense. So I kind of just want to do it in front of these trees, because it would live like that, like it would get all misty. And the hard part is sometimes you work so hard on doing, not hard, but you work on creating these trunks and these branches and stuff on the back trees. You know, I spend time doing them and painting them and making them look cool, and then you do something like this, like a fog effect, where you put it on top of the tree. Excuse me, and it feels like you wasted your time, but you really didn't. Because if I decided I didn't want the fog, I can turn them off, and then I would have a nicely painted tree. But you can see I'm turning the fog layer off and on. You can see, again, I still like that you can still see right here in the middle. You can still see the water hitting. I might actually even create like a shape that looks like the water spilling over, but this is good. Here, let me zoom out. Let me show you kind of the effect that it's giving you. So right here, it's a little dark. It's a little too much for me. Let me see if I can. This is me turning. I'm doing the history changes right now. I have only 20 history changes, so it might not be enough. So yeah, let me erase that one and do it again, because I don't want that to happen. So there we go. Now I'm doing the mist again on front of these trees. It was just too much. Did it again. I think that's just happening because whatever's behind it was, yeah. And then even in front of this with the water, the waterfall and the, I'm going to do it right here in front of this guy. And again, the beauty of Photoshop is I can then, if I don't like it, I can just turn it off. So there's definitely going to be some kind of mist that lives down here. And this might be a little too much, but we'll see. I don't mind if it gets totally opaque in the front, but you're kind of losing that water. So I don't know. I definitely want it to be a little hazy. And I'll probably put some like colorful, like flowery looking things. But yeah, so we're doing pretty good. There's kind of that you know, that fog effect. Let's look at it with the drawing. So yeah, there's the drawing. So that tower is going to make a huge difference because it's really going to draw your eye there. I mean, that's kind of the whole focal point of the whole thing. That's why I'm saving it for last, which I'll start it on Monday. But I don't think I need to do anything to that brown back still. The cliff face, the brown, it's really basic, but once I put all these other elements, I don't think it's going to matter. I'm going to try one more thing here. In front of this waterfall layer, before the mist, I might actually draw some mist. I just want to see what this looks like. And of course, it's not going to be red, but you know, it'll probably be, if I make it this cyan color, there we go, and then use this Bristol Buddy thing that I like to use. You can see it kind of starting to peek through a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I definitely want to be able to see the edges of it if I'm going to do this. And then what I probably would do is do a whole other layer of the same thing. Again, what's hard about this stuff is it's so throwaway. It's so like you can't even see it there. So you're gonna see this is like super subtle. Like you can barely even see it. But the thing is, I'll know it's there. So let me change it to this blue color. And do some darker business on the bottom like that. Might actually even do it white just to see if it'll really pop off. It does. So I'm going to pick this thing too, this other mist layer, and do the same thing with some white. Oops. You go on the mask layer. Is that it? No. It's behind it. My bad. You can add some white. Might be a little too much, but we'll see. So yeah, so there's the white. I don't know, it looks pretty cool. I don't know. Does that me tooting my own horn when I say it looks pretty cool? I mean, I think it looks a little better. It adds a little more than just the water going straight down. Here, I'll turn off this thing so you can kind of see what it looks like. So that's without it. I mean, it's fine without it, but I like it, so I'm going to keep it. Yeah. 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 Oh my god. Okay. I think we're kind of heading in the right direction here. I did that. I mean, I would just start doing the tower, but I don't want to get into that because I gotta take off here in a few minutes. I do want to redo this snow because it's freaking killing me because of the sky. So maybe I should do the sky real quick. So for the sky, what I want to do is I don't want to do this blue color. I want to do some kind of some sort of sunsetty thing. But I don't want to take away from the blues and the greens and everything. So I'm actually going online right now. Just not. I mean, I know what a sunset looks like, but I just kind of want to get the colors right. So what I might do is I'm going to use that big brush again. This big like one that I use for. Sorry, I'm just trying to think here. The one that I use to do the mist. And I am going to just straight up start painting it. Like this. Boom, 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 boom. Already looks cooler. Kind of drop it down to like a reddish. Might be a little too much. I don't want to lose the trees is the problem in that red. But then it would go to like a blue. Thinking about a sunset here, guys. Thinking about a sunset. So where the sun is, it's definitely orangey. And then when it gets up here, it gets a little more blue and a little more blue. And a little more blue and a little more blue and a little more blue. Here we go, here we go. Blue, blue, blue. Let's see what other sucky song comes up. I'm playing royalty-free music, by the way. That's what you're hearing, and I just like it to be playing in the background, so the times where I don't talk, it's not super boring. But, yeah. So I just added a purple. Again, I don't know if this is really going to work. I might have to re-go through this, but, I mean, it's a little much. It's a little much. I might have to knock it back. Oh, yeah, there you go. The problem with that is when you start doing stuff like that, to me, it makes it feel a little Photoshoppy, which I don't like. I like to make it look as painterly as possible. So as much as you cheat in Photoshop, I do feel bad when you paint something and then all you need to do is drop the like opacity of it. And it changes the way the whole thing looks. It's a little bit of cheating, and also to me, when I see someone who does that, I can tell. It's obvious to me that they did that. Or I would rather have someone be like, "Oh, I thought that was really painted," or whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna redo this snow because I hate it. So this is a shape again that it does. I'm going back to this Bristol Buddy guy. I'm going to select this snow cap. I'm going to paint it. It looks white right now, but it's actually like a purplish, pinkish white. And so what I'll do is I'm going to do the circle thing that I did for the trees instead of straight lines. And it's already looking a little better. I mean, it's alright. I feel like it needs to be a little bit brighter. Add a little more of this white back end. And then I got to do it over here. So again, this is going to be kind of, I'll zoom in a little bit to help you see. And there we go. Now I'm painting, I'm painting, I'm painting. There we go. A little more white. Just so it pops off a little bit. mean, it might be the shape of the snow that I'm not really liking that much. I could actually just go in here. Oh, no, I can't. I'm going to say I can move it up, but I can't. I can redo it, which I kind of want to a little bit. See, this is where I start getting like nitpicky about this stuff. Like, I don't like this very much. So I'm going to do like that, and I'm cutting this out basically is what I'm doing. You'll see right now. Boom. Different shape altogether. So I'm kind of reshaping this snow here. It's alright. It's alright. I think maybe it's just too high up. Alright, let's try this. I'm gonna go crazy here. I think that's better. Immediately. If the snow's on top. I will have to repaint this bottom part, which I can do really quickly right now. There, see? And just like that, I kind of shaved off that mountain a little bit, which I think looks way better. I can even do patches of snow, maybe, within that same thing. So if I do like this, and like this, let's see. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Again, I can get rid of all this if I really need to. But I'm just trying to make it look a little better. Give it a little something. Let's see how that looks. I don't know. Oh, this music sucks! God! I need to find some music that I can play that's royalty free. Because that's the whole thing. I would play something I'd want to listen to, which you guys would probably hate because I listen to old 90s R&B. But I have to listen to whatever you're listening to. It's on my headset. Actually, I don't. I can put the headset down. I'm a dummy. But you know what? If I'm going to torture you guys with this royalty-free music, then I might as well just also sit through it. All right, I think I'm going to call it for today. I am going to call it for today. All right, so I got to add the tower. We did a lot of stuff today, though. I came in because my close friend Kurt came into the room earlier and was asking me some Photoshop questions, which I loved because I can nerd out about it. So it was a little slow going for that part of it, but the rest of it went pretty well. We did the trees, we did the waterfall mist, we did the smoke, we did the ground plane, and we did the rocks. I fixed the snow in the mountain, which now I'm not really liking these other little guys, so I might take them away real quick right now because I won't be able to sleep at night knowing that this God forbidden snow is the way that it is. But let me take this away real quick so I can feel good. All right, there you go. All right, so there we go. We're gonna stick with this right now. This is where I'm at. We'll see how I feel. It's kind of good actually to get away from it for a little while. I mean, hours is good, but days is good too. It's fine. But to get away from it and come back and look, I knew that I didn't like that snow. I knew I wanted to change it when I came back and saw it. I may feel differently about these tree trunks because I'm already kind of like feeling weird about them. I feel like there needs to be something more to them. So I might even change their shape. But this is pretty good. This is exactly where I want it to be. Yeah. So I'll add a lizard. I'll add the tower. Let me show you the drawing one more time before I go. I don't know if you guys even want to see all these layers that I have. I wish there was like a layer count thing. Then you would really know what I'm looking at right now. Every time I look down, that's what I'm doing. I'm like renaming layers. There's freaking hundreds of them right now. But yeah, so here's the drawing. You can kind of see it a little bit. We're moving along though. We are definitely moving along. Here, let me do this real quick so you can see. That was when I was trying to figure out the trees. I'll take that off, and then I think if I turn these off, you can get a better idea of where I'm at right now. Yeah, so this is the drawing. You can actually see the drawing here. I'm actually going to save this as a layer comp, which you guys won't care about what that is. But yeah, there you go. So there's that. And then I'm going to turn everything back on again. And turn off the drawing and do another layer comp of that. So now I can switch back and forth. So there's the drawing. I mean, we're moving. We just have the cool tower to draw with the hair, and then I'll probably go through and do some details on everything else. So thank you guys for watching. Oh, and then we get a treat. We get my dog comes in to say goodbye. Say bye, Fred. Hey. Just say bye. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'll be back on Monday to probably finish it up, or if not, get really, really close. My dog Fred says hi. Fred. So we'll see you on Monday. Thanks again for watching.